Okay, so this is Mr. Roche. We were back at Pente. We were working on the problem of the capture in the middle, and I've implemented like a kind of a new way to do this using check for Win2 and check for Win all in one. What I wanted to do is just have one routine that would be able to do all the four checks in any direction you want. Um, and this sort of runs it. I feel like I could rewrite this a little bit better, but it basically works. It does sort of the horizontal and diagonal checks here, and if you still don't win, it looks for the vertical check. So there's kind of four checks that are going to happen here. What I did was I kind of like I set up a Boolean variable for like being done, and I also set a thing I made it like a small little array to kind of allow um, the checks to kind of be in different directions. If I do this, the y's will either be going like if it's -1, it'll move in an up direction, okay, like going here, here, like diagonally, like that. If it's 0, it'll work horizontally, okay. The check will like work both ways horizontally, and if it's 1, then it'll work. I guess it'll work from like here going down. So so that's what's going on with this. Yeah, it goes like this, and it goes back up. So we have ability to do, you know, a diagonal based on this, a diagonal based on this, and a diagonal or and a horizontal check here. Okay, and then if that doesn't work, then I just kind of run one more to do like a vertical or like a straight up and down check, and that covers like all the directions then. Okay, so what I wanted to do too is I didn't want to use a for loop so that if I found a win, it would just kind of stop. I didn't want to run and find. I didn't want it to run mechanically like 4 different times. So I wanted it. So that's why I set up this done variable. So if something happens, then like done's true. Okay. But basically, what's going to happen is if it's not done, and we're not at the end of this array, then what we can do is call up the check, okay, for like for the square, okay, sending it parameters on which way to run the check, whether it's like up, down, whatever, okay. If it comes back true, right, then we call up something that says we have a winner, and that's we programmed this last class, so we have a winner, and but basically what it does is it shows you that you know it gives let me see if I can find it. It tells you like if you know it tells you because you know who the current player is, and it says the winner's Blackstone player or the winner's Whitestone player, and then we say congratulations, the winner, you've won, great job. Okay, so that's there. Um, but the bigger part of it is this. So what it does is you find a winner, then done's true, then you get out of there. And if you're still not done, you check one more time for winner. So I can rewrite this. I can just sort of extend this array, but I want to get into this kind of array business. So I thought this was, you know, this is how I kind of solved it in the beginning. Could combine this all into one big thing. So probably we'll do that by next class or whatever. But that's what's going on. Okay, so that's the first part of this solution. Okay, is this check for Win2. Okay, you can see the code. Try to get this going yourself. This is sort of my version of it, and there you go. Okay, the second part of this is to implement a check like where basically what I want to do is just have one. I don't want to have like 4 or 5 different routines doing this. It's like it all does the same thing. So this is actually sort of a version of our a version of our capture. Okay, and so basically what's going to happen, and also it's sort of a version of I think like merge sort, basically, where we kind of go through quick sort, where you kind of run through like with a loop and kind of step along an array, which we can do, okay, on the board. So what I did here was I set up a Boolean variable called is there a win? Okay, set it equal to false. because you haven't found out if you won yet, and that's what we're going to return at the end of the routine. We go, whether it's won or not, we're going to return that. Okay. So you have this Boolean set to false. We get our row and column because it's easier to do this. Okay. This is just error checking to make sure that I have, what I'm doing. Okay. Things like that. Okay. Then what I wanted to do was I wanted to kind of count stones that I found along the way. Okay. Okay, so this is both for right and left. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up two variables. Okay. One's like how many right, and one's how many left. So as you go, like if your stone's here, and you find a stone here, you're going to count that on the left side, right? If you're here and you count a stone here, like you're gonna count on the right side. Okay. And if how many right and how many left plus 1 add up to 5, then you have a winner. Okay. Then what I did was here is that I need something that's going to step through it each time. Okay. So I need to go. This goes to the right first. Okay. So this is going to the right. To check our right side. Okay, so where stone S is. So you put stone S down and you're gonna check to the right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna step once, okay? And then see these dy and dx's will let you kind of move through here, okay? So what you do, and this will handle like the diagonals. Like this is set up to handle like the diagonal stuff because you have this sort of dx and dy, which is either going to be 0, -1, or 1. Okay, and basically, if it equals your current turn, if one right over equals your current turn, you're going to keep going. Okay, so we'll keep doing that, right? And then we'll add up the next step and we'll go to the next one. So we keep doing that. Okay. I can move this. Might be easier to read if it's like that. So because that's inside the loop. But basically, if the next one is in going the direction you're going, but this is all going right. If it's true, you keep going until you can't go anymore. Okay. You also have to make sure that you don't fall off the edge. So I actually put this first because this will check this first, and if this is wrong, it'll just kind of cut out the loop and it won't get to this. So you won't run into like a overrun error. So that simple loop goes through here. So you need this much to write one loop. Okay. Okay. So that's moving right. Okay. This is moving left. Okay. So we're going to keep going here, and it's the exact same thing except it's moving right. So instead of a plus, I make it a minus. Make it a minus here. Okay. So it's like basically the same thing except it's going the other way. Okay. There's a minus here also to check on the step to make sure you're not kind of stepping out of where you need to go. Okay. So let me see. I think that's pretty good. We might have to check. We might have to add something here. I might have forgotten to add something to check, like going off the edge for rows. I have to check that. But we might not need that. But that's it. And so you run these two loops. You count how many left. You count how many right. Okay. And then if how many right plus how many left plus 1 is bigger than or equal to 5, then you return true. You set it to be true, and you have a win. Okay. And that basically will run checks. I mean, we'll run the win thing, win function to check. If you've won. So that's kind of it. It gets run as we said before. It gets run up in here in play game. Okay. And so what's going to happen in play game is you check for captures. You check to see if you've won on captures. You check for a win based on, stones, okay? And now I'm using check for Win2. And then when you're done, you change the turn. And if you haven't won, we can make this smarter, but right now you just kind of change turn. Okay, so that's it. So you need to have something in play game. Okay, and we've tried a revised version, and you don't have to erase the other one or anything. I just am letting it sit, but you have to have a revised check for win. Okay, this is our smarter, cooler, better one. And then I added this one thing called check for win all in one. Okay, which looks like this. Where we start some variables, we run one loop, two loops, and then we check the result of running the two loops. Okay, and then if you get a win, you say you have a winner down here. Okay, which we had programmed. This is old stuff. Okay, so that's it.